Hello, everyone, and welcome to On Tap Bets. I'm your host, Cody. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap, and I'm joined tonight with my good friend Joey Rakota. You can follow me on Twitter, The Riot 326. We're back. We have been consistent over the last couple of weeks. I got to say that's a huge step in this podcast's history. So, congrats to us. We'll give us a nice little pat on the back. Before we really dive into it, if you want to be interactive with us, head on over to our YouTube and Facebook account, because on Twitter we can't see your comments. So head on over to our YouTube at OnTap Sportsnet, both YouTube and Facebook, and join the conversation, because degenerates have to stay together. I feel like that's a thing. We have to. You ride together, you win together, you lose together. More often than not, there's nothing better than going to the bar at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday for college basketball with your buddies to watch the entire slate all day, and you all ride the same picks. And you win together, you lose together, you feel pain together, you feel excitement together. So we'd like everyone to interact with us. If you're listening to the podcast version, thank you for subscribing. Go subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We're probably there. Again, at On Tap Bets. Whew. Okay, Joey. How you doing, man?
That's a lot. That's a lot. You got through it.
I did. I made it. We made it. We're back. How you doing, man? Tough weekend last week, but we're back, and we're hoping to rebound a little bit. I know our locks were not locks, but
fade the locks, apparently.
Yeah, fade the locks, apparently. I think my lock of the week last week was Lions +7. I think when we talked about it, it was +6.5. It moved all the way to 8.5, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the greatest W ever. I put $50 on the Detroit Lions to cover 8.5 because I was so confident that they were going to at least be in the game with the Seattle Seahawks, and they murdered my soul. Dan Campbell, you can quite literally go jump in Lake Michigan, brother.
Fuck, that's horrible, dude. Yeah, Dan Campbell, I mean, they got the fighting Dan Campbells. I think I was on your side on that too. So
it made perfect sense on why the Lions were going to cover against the Seahawks. And then the Seahawks magically, somehow, some way, decided to put 40 up on the Lions. And then there was even one point where the Lions looked like they were going to come back because they had a huge third quarter, and then they fell apart. They just did do nothing. So yeah, I don't know what happened. Jared Goff didn't play, but hell, Tim Boyle freaking only lost by 4 points to the Falcons. I thought that the Seahawks would let the Lions hang around. I mean, the Lions were like 10-5 against the spread or something like that going into last week.
They let the Bears hang around and beat them. So we were
where we
were at with Nick Foles.
Right. So yeah, that lock was not great, Bob, as they say. I also really loved the Rams -4, and then the spread moved up a little bit more after a few injuries or whatever. I think it was whenever they played the Ravens, right? And I think they announced that Lamar Jackson wasn't going to play, and then the Ravens decided to hang around. They still lost, but the Rams didn't cover 6, so that was a little bit of a heartbreaker. But overall, outside of those two games, I actually didn't do too bad. Let's see. I had Packers -7, and I had Packers -13.5 because again, fading Kirk Cousins until the end of time. It's death, taxes, and fade Kirk Cousins on primetime. Hell, the only time you want to bet on him is at noon, and I don't even like him at noon this week. So we're going to get to that. But yeah,
I was with you on that one too. That was a good. We both made some money on that one at least.
Yeah, I also had the Bears and Giants under 37, and that hit. And I had the Bears to cover as well. So, they were 6.5 point favorites. It was like the first time in God knows how long they were actually 6 point favorites, and they murdered the Giants like we thought they would. So, you win some, you lose some. I put more money on the locks, and that's why I pretty much came out even last week. But, unrelated, the Chicago Bulls have made me a lot of gambling money.
Yes. I think they've made all of us some good gambling money this year, except for B-Don for some reason. I don't quite understand. He bets them against the spread all the worst games. Like the games that they win by 2 points where the spread was 3, and it's like the worst fucking luck.
I like to bet them on the spread almost every game too, but I have not lately because they've not been playing up to par against the bad teams. There was like 14 points, I think, in their last game was the spread, and they came nowhere close to covering that. Doesn't mean anything for my fanhood or the team, but when it comes to covering, they haven't been great the last couple games. Tonight they got the Wizards. If you're watching, 6.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of avoiding it. I kind of like the prop bets, man. I've been killing on prop bets. Nikola Vucevic first basket, death taxes. Vuce first basket. It's been a hit, a big hit for the last month for me. Honestly, I love it. So I've been taking that a lot. But yeah,
I've been loving the Vucevic double plus a Bulls win. That's been plus money almost every night. I don't know what it's at now, but that's been fucking money in the bank. And for whatever reason, I'm sure you. Well, I think I pointed this out, or I mean, I know I've told you or whatever. We've talked about it. Levine, they keep putting his 3-pointers at like 2.5, and this dude's hitting like 4, 5, 5, 5, 7, just about every game. So keep putting it at 2.5, 3.5. I'm gonna keep smashing it every time.
Kobe White points. He's been playing so well lately. Like I know that Lonzo Ball is back, but still, like he's been making so many. So like he has figured out his role as the guy off the bench, and he's just kind of like that catalyst, like sixth man. He's putting up double digits every night. And I think the over under for him tonight was like 11 and a half. I like that. I like that a lot, but
I'm still a little upset with him though. And it sounds stupid because the game I went to, which was the day after Christmas, I had a solid, like same game parlay, all lined up, everything perfect, everything nice. I needed 1-3 from Kobe White. Just one. That's all I'm asking for. And I don't even know if he attempted a 3 the entire game. Maybe one. I don't know, but he didn't make one. So after that, though, the guy's been like the old school Jamal Crawford off the bench. Like
he really has been,
been great.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Bulls on Tap. Go follow them if you're a Bulls fan and you're not, and you're watching. You don't follow Buzz and Keith do a great job. Joey, are you ready to talk some football now? We're 8 minutes in here.
I'm ready, man.
We're here for the NFL. I mean, what else are we going to bet on that we're very confident in? It's the NFL. We got 2 games tomorrow. We got games on Sunday, of course, and I think there's a Monday Night Football game this week as well. It's the last week, but I'm pretty sure there's a Monday Night Football game.
Is there a Monday night game? I don't know.
Either way, I don't know. I don't think we're betting it, or at least we're not going to talk about it. But let's start with the Cowboys and Eagles. Joey, playoff implications. You're the guy. You wrote them down. Let me know how. Obviously the Cowboys won I think they already clinched the division. They clinched the division like 4 weeks ago, I feel like. The Eagles are in the 7th seed, and I think they're a lock to make the playoffs anyway, so I don't know how much means anything, but Cowboys, Eagles, I still think these teams are going to try. Are you with me on that?
Somewhat. So there's seeding implications mainly for just both these teams. Like the Cowboys still have a shot to get to the 2 or 3 seed. So they want to win and potentially move up to 2 or 3. But the difference this year is that they can't get a first round bye. I don't believe. I believe it's just the 1 seed that's getting the bye. So with the 7th team added. So what they're really doing is just getting that home field advantage and maybe a potentially better matchup. But so I do think that from that sense, I think they will try to play. And I mean, Jerry Jones did say that he's going to start his guys and the players are going to play. But we already know now, announced today, that Trayvon Diggs is out. I think he had an illness. I'm not quite sure. But
I think it's the illness, yeah.
Safety, Jaron Curse is out. And then Tony Pollard, who's kind of been a really, really nice change of pace back. And they've been utilizing both him and Zeke really well out of the backfield. But And it's funny because Eagles fans on Twitter, they were calling out Trayvon Diggs when the announcement came about the sickness, and they were like, "Yeah, he just doesn't want the Devontae Smith smoke and this and that." And it's like, I thought that was fucking hilarious because I'm like, dude, Trayvon Diggs had an interception, pick six against you guys last time, and three
I was gonna
passes.
say,
Like,
like the Cowboys murdered the Eagles in their last matchup. They played back in late September, and Dallas won by 20 points. It was a blowout.
yeah, so I'm not quite sure what I just, Twitter is just funny sometimes, man. You
Yeah,
don't even know what people are like. I can't take, I don't even know if they're being serious or not, but
right.
like they're Eagles diehards, whatever. But
I'll go ahead and give my 2 cents on this game. The over-under is at 43 right now, or at least last I checked was at 43. I like the over because personally, I think the Eagles, they've won 6 of their last 7 games. They're trying to carry some momentum into the playoffs. First-year coach Nick Sirianni, I think that's how you say his name. Like, I get like young team, up and coming type feel. Like no one really thinks they can even win a playoff game type feel. But so with all that said, I feel like the Eagles are going to want to go in and at least play a full game here. In my opinion, and like I said, it was 41-21 the last game. And Dallas scored 41 of those points. The Eagles defense, it's gotten better as the season's gone on, but Dallas has beat every NFC East team. Like, I haven't lost an NFC East team all season. I think Dallas is going to find a way to put up a couple touchdowns at least and maybe play all their starters in the first half. And then I think the Eagles are going to join in and like I said, play a full game. I'm afraid of the spread because of like I could see them sitting guys at the end, like at halftime or something like that. But I like over 43. I just don't think there's like, for instance, like Jalen Hurts he's been turnover. He's given up some turnovers as well. Like I could see Dallas doing exactly what they did to the Washington football team 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football, in terms of just getting some defensive touchdowns. I know Trayvon Diggs is out, but still, like I could see it just because I've seen Hurts be really good and I've seen him be really bad. Not really sure how I feel about Hurts at this point. I do think he's a guy to build around, but will he be a franchise quarterback of the future? I'm not sure yet. But 43 just seems like a low number for this game, in my opinion, man. What do you got?
yeah, I'm with you on the over. I like the over in this game, so I'll say that because I agree with a lot of the points you made, and I do feel like even if so part of the implications too that I didn't quite mention yet was the Eagles. There's like a ton of different potential outcomes between both these teams as far as seeding goes. Obviously there's 32 different playoff implication scenarios this week, so I'm not going to get into all of them. But I will say that the Eagles, maybe they would rather lose this game, because if they lose this game, then they could potentially line up, instead of facing the Rams, which is the most likely scenario in the first round, they could potentially face either the Cardinals or the Cowboys even again. So, and that's still a potential. But I will say I still think they're going to try to beat them. I talked to one of my buddies who's a big big Philadelphia fan, Eagles fan, and he said that, yeah, it's still the Cowboys. We still hate them, and they're still going to try to win. So with that said, who would you rather take if it does come down to backups in the second half? Gardner Minshew, Mustache Mania, or Rush Hour? You taking Cooper Rush? I'm going to go ahead and say probably the Eagles. But I do feel like the motivation factor is still there with the Cowboys. So for that reason, I'm going to take the over, because I think Minshew can still put up points even in the second half. So I think that's pretty much the guarantee with the offense that the Cowboys have as well too. They can put up some points. So
I could see this over being hit in the first half, honestly, with the way the Cowboys played the other night or last week against Arizona. You feel like they're going to be wanting to bounce back, and they're going up against a team in their division that they've already beat up on. I mean, 43 points, if you just need to get to 20, both teams need to get to 20. That's 3 touchdowns. Like, and I just don't see the Eagles getting blown out in this game. I see a 20-20 27-20 game or something like that. That's what I see in this game. And again, if we see some turnovers, that leads to more points usually. So I think that's possible even with Diggs out. So I'm glad that you wanted to do the over on this because I didn't like the spread. And I was like, okay, it's over under, and this is 43 points. This is going to be disgusting if I take the under. So
it's sketchy. The spread is sketchy.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's move on to our Chicago Bears. Death, taxes, and thank God the goddamn Chicago Bears season is over. All I can say is no Justin Fields. This game doesn't matter to Bears fans. But if you're a degenerate like me and Joey, we will be watching and we will be playing something on this game. We've been riding David Montgomery receiving yards. It didn't hit last week, unfortunately, on the Lock'em parlay, which came so close in the last one we did. But yeah, I against the Vikings, like I said, Kirk Cousins on primetime sucks. He's better at noon, and he's at home. But they've also lost 5 of their last 6 games. I don't care if Kirk Cousins didn't play last week or not. They look like trash at Green Bay. I think the Bears play up in this game, the last game of the year. They always play up in games that don't matter. We're Bears fans. We know how this works. I like the Bears plus 5.5 here, man. I'm pretty sure it's Dalton that's starting. And I think that Matt Nagy, this is what pisses me off about Matt Nagy, is that Matt Nagy, his game plan for not Justin Fields, but for Andy Dalton and Nick Foles makes perfect sense for those types of quarterbacks. But he doesn't want to change when it comes to his who many think or hope that is the next franchise quarterback of the Bears, Justin Fields. It pisses me off. But that has nothing to we're not Bears on tap. You're Bears on tap. I'm not. But I just think that his game plan for Andy Dalton is going to be beneficial for the Bears offense this week. And they're going to clog up the clock with David Montgomery, just use him as a workhorse, and they're going to score early, and then their defense is going to keep them in it the rest of the game somehow, some way. They remembered that stupid Monday Night Football loss that they should have won despite losing 17-9. Should have been 17-3, but touchdown at the very end of the game that didn't matter. I know Akeem Hicks is out and he's not going to play, but I still like the Bears defense in this spot against this team and Kirk fucking Cousins. Yeah. I don't care if it is noon. I'm not betting on Kirk Cousins against my team. Not doing it.
No, I'm with you, man. We're taking the money line.
Bears money line, baby.
We're taking the money line. Maybe it's fucking crazy, but Matt Nagy, he's going to go out. It's a send-off tour. Obviously, we know he's gone after the end of the season. It's no secret at this point. Mike Zimmer's probably gone for the Vikings, though, too. So, I mean, I'm not saying that motivationally it'll be much different on the Bears side, but I don't know. I just have this gut feeling that the Bears do come out a little bit hungry. They're healthier this time that they're facing the Vikings too with the defense. Maybe not Akeem Hicks, but Eddie Jackson, Jalen Johnson, Tayshaun Gibson. Those guys will be in there. So I
the
like
last
them.
game. Really, you can't even use really the last game to compare for this game because they're going to be playing in a dome this time.
Yeah,
I was at the game against the Vikings. That game was freezing cold and just unbearable to even want to be at. Not only because the Bears are bad, but because it was freezing cold. You know what I mean? I think that there's going to be more offense in this game.
I do too. Yeah.
So, I mean, the over-under is at 44. That's still kind of sketchy for me because we could see what the Bears did last week against the Giants. I could see it against this Vikings team with Kirk Cousins. Historically in the Matt Nagy era, the Bears have played very well against the Vikings. I mean, Mitch Trubisky never lost to the Vikings, I'm pretty sure, in his career as the Bears quarterback. So I'm if this spread came down to 2.5 for the Vikings, I would actually consider it. But I can't do 5.5. And it's at 5.5 right now. I could see it at 6 or 6.5 come Sunday. because there's just going to be more people that are going to be like, oh, the Bears are trash, and just really just think about Kirk Cousins hooking up with Justin Jefferson the entire game. Yeah. Bears money line, Bears plus 5.5.
Let's go.
Lock it in.
So I also have some wacky shit that I want to throw out there.
Okay, here we go. I like it.
I not only do I like the money line, but I came real close last week, and Beat-On knows this because I talked to him about it, and I sent it to a few people. My little stupid parlay that I put in with a Bears anytime defensive touchdown. It almost hit like 5 times against the Giants. I'm putting it in again this week. I'm not going to put it in a parlay, but it's going to be some nice plus money. Bears
that very
anytime
first play
touchdown.
of the game, bro. That very first play of the game.
Almost had
Just
it.
barely. Almost had it.
And then a couple other times too. And then they had one time where they had him like pinned inside the 1 yard line or something.
And that should have been like a safety or something like that.
Or maybe they could have gotten even like I'm thinking just punch it out. Just get a fumble here and just let's ride into the sunset. But didn't quite happen. But also, I want to mention this too. We talked about it on Bears on Tap. The where were you at when Ron Luce was due game? That's what we're calling this because I don't think Ron Luce. I don't know if he said that I don't think he's been to a Bears win yet, or at least not this year for sure. So every game that he's been to, he was at the Vikings Bears game with you on Monday night, and I think he went to the Cardinals Bears game too. So Ron Luce is due, and the Bears are getting a W.
He's going to Minnesota to this game?
Yeah, it's going to Minnesota.
Wow.
So, I mean, we spent the entire, I don't know if you listened to the episode or not, Cody, but we spent
unfortunately yet.
We spent like the entire episode hyping up Fields. This is going to be like the big meat on the table game and take all of his props over and 300 plus yards and 50 plus rushing and 2 to 3 touchdowns. And then the next day he's out with COVID. So it's like, what the fuck? Andy Dalton, I guess.
To be honest, I wouldn't like the Bears if Justin Fields was going to play, just because I really like Matt Nagy just doesn't know how to use them. That's the thing, and that's what pisses me off when people are slandering Justin Fields, because you're saying this, but have you watched the game at all? Like, have you seen what Matt Nagy is calling for this guy?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why I like the Bears in this matchup with Andy Dalton, because Matt Nagy actually plays to Andy Dalton's strengths, in my opinion. So it's like
those little hitch routes and bullshit.
Yeah, just like all the shit that any backup quarterback can do. You know what I mean?
It's so sad, man.
It's so sad. I hate being a Bears fan. All right.
So do I.
So Bears, plus 5.5 and Bears money line. Lock it in. It might be my lock 'em just for the sake of saying fuck it. Let's move on.
Last week of the season. Why not say fuck it?
Yeah, last week of the season. Can't hold anything back now. Steelers Ravens. What Steelers spreads at 3.5. What's over under is 44, 45,
40 and a half, I believe.
40 and a half now.
Did it go? Yeah, maybe it is 40.
No, last I checked was at 41. I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought it was 45. Yeah, so spreads at 41. It's potentially Ben Roethlisberger's last game. I think playoff implications matter here. Both teams are fighting for a playoff shot. I'm pretty sure if one team wins, they're in.
I think so. Steelers, if they clinch with a win, and Colts loss, and Chargers Raiders doesn't end in a tie. Good Lord, if that happens.
Yeah.
And someone can bet on that result. Like, if you can, dude, if you can find that result though, that game ends in a tie, we'll get there later. But if you can find that on a sports book and bet that, just pray for chaos. Just like a little $2 bet. I mean, like, that'd be awesome. But the Ravens, they need more help too. They need to win, and they need the Colts, Dolphins, and Chargers all to lose. So
that's so wild.
Yeah,
the Ravens have lost like 5 straight games. I think there's more to play here for the Steelers, and we still don't know if Lamar Jackson's going to play.
He's ruled out. Actually, he's ruled out.
Has he been ruled out? Okay, so it's going to be Tyler Huntley, who actually is not bad. He's actually played very well, and I think he's going to be a hot commodity in the offseason. But I'm riding Steelers plus 3.5. I know it's hard to beat a team twice, but the Steelers, if you look at it, the Steelers kind of broke the Ravens because they like the Ravens led most of the last game that they played, and then the Steelers came back and won, and the Ravens have been free falling since. I know it's in Baltimore, but again, Ben Roethlisberger's last game, potentially. I know they're coming off a short week because they played on Monday Night Football. But Steelers-Ravens rivalry game, arguably the biggest rivalry in the NFL, outside Bears-Packers and maybe a few other, but like one of the best rivalries. Like they're going to get up. Both teams are going to get up for this game. I just think the Steelers are going to just pound the ball with Najee Harris. Ben Roethlisberger is going to make the few throws that he can make left. And it's going to be a disgusting game. The over-under at 41 is disgusting. I think more likely than not, it stays under. But I like the Steelers to cover 3.5 and win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough, like, to cap a game where they're as big of rivals as they are, even with, like, because the Steelers were home last time. That game was at Heinz Field. Now they're going to Baltimore. So for me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, Tyler Huntley, even as a backup, he's not terrible, and they kind of run the same offense. But I also look at it, I'm like, that's kind of a lot of points for a team that really has a lot to play for still. And yeah, they're still going to be fighting just as hard as the Ravens, if not more, because they don't need as many things to break in their favor to get into the playoffs. So no doubt both of these teams will be giving their max effort, I think. But it's a noon kickoff, so they won't be able to see really what happens later on in the day. Right. But the Colts game, I don't know, that could get out of hand by halftime. So you really never know, like, how it plays out. Maybe they check the scoreboard. I doubt they're going to be coaching that way. Like Mike Tomlin's not that kind of. Neither is John Harbaugh. They're not those kind of coaches that they're like, let's look at the scoreboard and see what we're going to do in the second half. I think they're just going to play this game like it's not only their last game of the season, because it literally is for the regular season, but like, they're going to fight for it. Last time these teams met, though, I mean, that was literally, ironically, was Lamar Jackson's last game that he played a full game. So now with Huntley starting, I don't know, man. I just think it's too many points. I don't know if I'm going to take the Steelers money line. I might like sprinkle a little bit. I do think it's too many points. So I'm on the Steelers side here.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hate the hook, man. Like maybe I'd take the Ravens if it was like a pick 'em or 1 or 2 points, but at 3.5, like I can't. I lost too many times last week because of the fucking hook. So this
you're
week
getting good value though. If you're taking the money line, Cody, you're getting some pretty good value on the money line now that they even, as the points go up or whatever the spread is past the hook, whatever. Like you're getting some good value on the money line. So I don't see. I mean, your logic there is pretty good too. Just taking the money line.
Right. And for some reason, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger didn't have a great game last week. Only like 125 yards passing. The only reason I remember that is because we had it in the fucking lock 'em parlay that didn't hit. Motherfucker.
Oh, God. We're going to get one of these days.
The completions, though. I may take the completions bet again over whatever it is. Last week it was 22.5. Hit it almost by halftime. God bless and good fucking night. Yeah. I just think that Big Ben's going to leave it all out there, and I don't think he's going to put up any insane numbers or anything like that. But like the Ravens, like I said, are free falling. Tyler Huntley's been very nice, but he hasn't won any game. And maybe that's because of Harbaugh going for 2 a lot in the very end of the games and stuff like that. They've lost 2 games because they went for 2 at the very end and lost by 1 point because of it. It's again, I just think the Steelers are a little bit more balanced on both sides of the ball. I think the Steelers defense is a little bit better. I know they're not as great on the road as they are at home, but man, this is for the season, man. Like in my opinion, I think this is a game that Mike Tomlin shows a little bit more than John Harbaugh. So I'm riding the Steel City. I'm gonna ride Ben Roethlisberger in his fucking walking boot that he's always wearing to the bank.
Let's fucking do it. I honestly, it's funny though too that you say that. It's like I think one thing, and now it's going to be. I'm knocking on wood because, please, dear God, don't hear me and like just change up everything I'm about to say and just completely flip it, and it's going to be a blowout. But one thing I can almost positively say is Tyler Huntley will not blow this team out. Like,
No.
they're not going to blow out the Steelers. It's just not going to happen.
It's going to be a defensive battle. There's going to be a lot of punts. Like, that's why I'm kind of like on the under, because it's like, I just think they're going to just, it's going to, like, by the end of the first quarter, it'll be like 3-0.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I feel like it'll be. And then everyone who took the over is going to be like, fuck me.
So you're saying, you're also telling me we're not taking Big Ben's 225 plus alternate passing yards.
We're not doing that, dude.
We're not taking Deontay Johnson's 60 plus receiving yards.
No, we're not doing
it. What the fuck, man? How many catches did he have? And he can't get 60 plus receiving yards?
He had like 8, and he had like 30 yards receiving.
And he also dropped the ball like 3 times. And Big Ben's throwing it like 2 yards per fucking attempt.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Let's move on. NFC South matchup, Saints, Falcons. We got a real barn burner here. Taysom Hill versus Matt Ryan or Josh Rosen, who fucking knows. Saints Falcons spread is 3 right now. It's at just no hook, just 3 points. At least last I checked, Joey. I could be wrong.
I think it is a hook now.
The over-under is at 39.5. That is disgusting.
Yes.
The Falcons won the first matchup in this one. I think the Saints have more to play for still here. I think they still have a chance to make playoffs. Joey, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Falcons are 6-9, which is nice, but it's not going to get them in the playoffs. And the Saints defense has been really good. Whether they have COVID or not, their defense is going to get them. I know they gave up 27 points to the Falcons last time. I think it goes differently this time. Again, I haven't used this, or it kind of takes away what I said about the Steelers. It's hard to beat a team twice, but again, I think with the Saints having more to play for here, I like the Saints -3.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's go ahead and lock that up. We should probably put that in our lock and parlay this week because
okay.
I do think the Saints will cover here. I think they'll win this game. First thoughts, like you kind of mentioned too, this total seems unreasonably low, but then when you kind of dive a little bit deeper, I mean, the Saints have the number 4 ranked defense in DVOA metrics, or using DVOA. So, I mean, I don't know. The one scenario that gets them, it's pretty simple for the Saints to get in this week. It's beat Atlanta and then have the 49ers lose to the Rams. So they're one of the simpler cases of like how I'm going to make the playoffs this weekend. I think for them, it's just, let's win this fucking game. Sean Payton, he's obviously done a great job with this team throughout the years, and they know how to make the playoffs. They've been to a bunch of playoffs under him. And I don't know, man. I'm on the Saints side here. I also would like to throw out a prop, though, too, because if he plays. So Kyle Pitts he's questionable right now, dealing with a hammy. He has a chance to break Iron Mike Ditka's record for receiving yards by a rookie tight end. A goal, obviously he'd like to accomplish this Sunday if he's good to go. And I'm only gonna imagine that he's gonna do everything in his power to play that game to break that record, because I mean it's since 1961 this record's been alive. So that was Ditka. That was pretty much his best season as a Bear too, as a tight end for receiving yards and touchdowns. So he needs, I believe it's 59 receiving yards to get that number, which is 1,076 yards. I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's going to go over his receiving yards prop if he's allowed to play. Like if he's good enough, they're not going to run him out there. The Falcons aren't going to be dumb with their rookie top drafted tight end. They're not going to be dumb. If he's not good to go, they're not going to play him. If he's good to go, he's going over 59 receiving yards, or I think he needs 59 exactly. So I'm not sure what his prop's going to be set at, but if it's lower than 59, Smash the over.
All right. I like it. Kyle Pitts he's got a future. I like him. Yeah, man. Okay, so we're riding Saints -3. I don't really have a prop bet for this game because I haven't really looked at it at this point. But another reason, if anyone needs any more reason, is I just hate betting the Falcons. They are, there's very few teams that make me feel good about being a Bears fan in my life. One of them is the Cleveland Browns, the New York Jets, and the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have all this talent, and every week they shit the bed on, I guess, actually utilizing the talent that they have and winning football games. It feels like anytime they play a good team. And the Saints aren't great, but they're not bad either. And their defense is good. I could see him picking off Matt Ryan once or twice. You look at the Falcons and you look at the Falcons, you look at that offense they have, and then you look at the Saints and what they have, and you're like, this should be the Falcons. Like the Falcons, you should bet the Falcons. But they are the worst team to bet on because you cannot trust them at anything that they do. Nothing. And also, since Calvin Ridley decided to sit out because of his mental health, which I support, the Falcons offense has just not been great. I mean, they have barely beat bad teams. I mean, let me just go through the Falcons schedule real fucking quick. All right. The Falcons, so they lost by 14 to Buffalo. That's a good team. So they're not good against good teams. They beat Detroit by 4. They lost by almost 20 points to the 49ers. Good team. They beat Carolina. Carolina's not good. They lost by double digits to Tampa Bay. They only beat Jacksonville by a touchdown. They got blown out by New England at home. They got blown out at Dallas 43-3. And then they beat New Orleans back on November 7th. That, like, before that Saints game, like, what has Atlanta done since then? They have not done anything that's worth monitoring at all. This team stinks. They make me feel good about being a Bears fan because at least the Bears don't have talent and suck, and it makes sense. Or maybe they do have talent, but they don't know how to utilize it. But it's not nearly as much talent as the Falcons do, in my personal opinion. How do you have a guy like Matt Ryan, who historically has been very good his entire career, but you can't win football games with someone like that? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, Joey. Doesn't make any sense to me.
They've just really done a piss poor job of obviously finding good coaching, but like putting a roster in place around Matt Ryan for years and years and years. And yeah, they've had pretty good weapons on offense, but like there's always been these other issues, like whether it be the offensive line, whether it be running back, whether it be defense. They've just had so many different issues throughout the years that's like, it makes you feel good as a Bears fan. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at least the Bears didn't blow a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like,
ouch.
Ever since that game, the Falcons have just been a absolute dumpster fire of an organization.
Cody, you are really coming for Atlanta this week.
It just pisses me off if you have that much talent and you still suck.
It does. And you know who would look great in the Bears uniform? I don't know if they can afford him with all the moves they're going to have to make. But Calvin Ridley to the Bears next year.
Hell yeah, man. I'd love Calvin Ridley on the Bears next year somehow, some way.
Yeah, it'd be fucking awesome. if he's okay, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's going to play or not in the future with the mental health thing going on, but if he's going to play, he would look excellent in a Chicago uniform.
Right. All right, let's move to the last game. That's 49ers and the Rams. Last I checked, spread's at 4.5. I don't know what the over-under is here, Joey.
Looks like 44.5.
44.5. I kind of like the over, but I also don't, because I don't really know what the 49ers are going to do with Trey Lance. He didn't have a good first half last week against the Texans of all teams, but he did play better in the second half, and they won. They won pretty easily, 23-7. Pretty sure what the score was. And I haven't really watched Trey Lance play. I did see him play live when I was out in California in preseason. He looked pretty good in preseason, but that's preseason.
So it sounds like, though, Cody, Jimmy G has a pretty good shot of starting this week.
Does he? That's the
Like,
thing is like I don't know who's going to start, and that's why it's
yeah.
hard for me to make a pick here.
I guess he's been limited practice the last few days, I think. So it sounds like he's got a real good shot of playing.
I think I was going to take the 49ers either way. The Rams murdered me last week because I thought the Rams were, I guess, excelling to that next level, like playoff mode or whatever, and then they barely beat a team like the Ravens. Matt Stafford has thrown like 6 interceptions the last 2 weeks, something like that. I don't know. I don't have the exact numbers, but I do know he threw multiple interceptions last week and the week before. 49ers defense, pretty good. George Kittle, Jimmy G, they love to hook up. Rams defense is pretty solid, but they've also lost 5 in a row to the 49ers. I could see the Rams winning this game, but 4.5, like I still see it being close. So it's like if it was under 3, if the spread was under 3, I'd probably take the Rams, but 49ers on the road, they need to win this game for playoff implications. The Rams are already in. I don't think they care nearly as much. I still think they're going to try to win, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't see them going all out. So, yeah, Jimmy G or Trey Lance, I like the 49ers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that we're in such agreement this week, to be honest, because it's like
every single game, man.
Yeah, it does feel that way, and that makes me really fucking scared. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I also like a little sprinkle on the money line here with the 49ers.
Oh,
yeah,
sprinkle.
Little sprinkle. I mean, they clinch with the win or a Saints loss. So, they're not going to know because I believe the Saints are in the second window too, time window.
They are, yes.
So, and the Rams are in. They're just kind of looking at seeding at this point. I don't really think – I'm not saying that they're not going to try for this game. They will be trying. But, like, if it gets to a point where maybe this game gets a little bit more physical than they want it to, and they know they still just want to make a run, it's all about the playoffs. You are playing a first-round matchup. You're not going to have a bye no matter what. I could see Sean McVay and these guys being like, hey, let's pull back the reins a little bit. We're comfortable. We're confident that we can beat anybody in the first round because I know what I'm going to do as far as game plan-wise goes against these teams. I'm going to focus on that, and I know that this team is talented enough to beat any team in the conference if we're on our game. So let's just get there healthy. I also think – I mean, the Niners, they forced 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions from Matthew Stafford the first time they faced. And not to say that that's going to happen and carry over here. That's going to be the same thing that happens. But, I mean, and like we talked about with Jimmy G, them getting Jimmy G back, I think that actually is in their benefit here, which I don't know. You can say what you want about Jimmy G. He played pretty poorly against the Titans. He missed some key throws. And then obviously
we slander Jimmy G in my presence, brother. Don't be.
I hate to say it. I know. I hate to say it.
That guy was a legend on 7th Street in Charleston, Illinois.
I'm sure he was. I know. He has to be, of course. And this is the thing. Like, but I do think they're a better team with Garoppolo right now than with Lance, even if Lance is starting over Jimmy G. So I prefer him to be starting, and I think
I don't think Trey Lance is ready for this type of game.
No, I think it could be a dogfight. Like this could be a dogfight, and it's a big game for the Niners, obviously. And even with the even if the Rams don't give up and just kind of like pull the reins back second half, I think the Niners have a good shot of winning no matter what. So why not take the points there?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. We're together. We're riding or dying together, man. I guess what I said at the beginning of the show about everything, riding or dying.
We're going to have a hell of a lock and parlay this week.
We might as well.
Easy to come up with.
We should just put all these games in a parlay because fuck it, we're both riding on the same ones.
Right.
All right, so we're riding the 49ers. Again, I just think, like they have more to play for here than the Rams do, and I think the Rams care more about being healthy going to the playoffs than winning this game, even though they've lost 5 in a row to the 49ers, and they're coming off a win. It wasn't a pretty win, that's for sure, but I think Sean McVay definitely cares a little bit more about the postseason than this game. Before we get to the national championship, do you wanted to briefly discuss Chargers Raiders on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, Chargers Raiders. I mean, that's going to be kind of a fun one too, because it's like does have implications, but I mean, we don't know once it gets there. So I mean, the Raiders, they were trying to play spoiler, but now, they're not dead in the playoffs after 3 straight wins, and then last week beating the Colts. So Raiders clinch with a win or tie and Colts loss, or Colts loss and Steelers loss. So a few different routes there. Chargers clinch with a win or tie. So just don't lose the game if you're the Chargers and you're in the playoffs. That's pretty simple there, I think.
Yeah, both teams 9-7 at this point. Spreads 3.5. Over/unders at 48.5.
Yeah, I think
I'm actually glad that game's on Sunday night. I feel like both teams are going to try either way, no matter what happens. So
I do too. I mean, I want chaos. Yeah. I don't know. I went back and forth with this game.
I like the over. I like the over in that game. They're going to be playing in the Las Vegas Dome. 48.5 seems low to me. I know the Raiders are kind of like their offense can be like hot and cold, but the Chargers, I feel like this is the same as well, but the Chargers they've given, I mean, 2 weeks ago, they lost to the freaking Texans. Like It's not even offense defense. That's just like sometimes they just play down to their competition. And, I think the Chargers are a much, much better team than the Raiders, but the spread kind of scares me. So I like the over so I can just root for points.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. I would like to say the over too. I think there will be points in this game. I also I'm rooting for a tie, as weird as that fucking sounds. But if it doesn't matter at that point, then I'm not going to be rooting for a tie. So in that case, I'm going with the Chargers because I think my gut tells me the Raiders' luck is just ready to run out. When you're on one of these big long streaks for a while, it almost feels it's not like a super long streak, but 3 games for a Raiders team that's they lost their coach through the middle of the year. The replacement's done a fine job, but it's also they've dealt with a lot this year. There's some other stories that have been even recently surfacing. I just think the luck's about to run out here. You're buying low on the Chargers at -3, I think, against the Raiders, and selling high on the Raiders. So I think Herbert has a big day. I think Eckler has a big day, and I'm gonna lay it with the Chargers.
Yeah, I lean Chargers as well. I just like the over/under a little bit more. So might as well parlay the two on Sunday night. Sunday night carry, death taxes. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Nothing better. Last one of the year. Last time to watch Carrie Underwood sing to our faces at 7:15 Central Standard Time. Just embrace it. Don't forget about it. It's awesome. All right. Little college football, the last game of the year, man. I'm surprised you don't want to talk about the old FCS championship game.
I didn't even. We could, I guess. I
really don't want to. The only thing I got to say is I probably would take North Dakota State because they're an elite, they're the Alabama of FCS. They win every year almost. Yeah. But yeah, I just had to throw that joke out there.
I'm gonna be honest though, Cody. I don't know as much about FCS this year. I have not followed so I would literally just be riding with you and be like, yeah, that makes sense. They have been the Bama of recent years. So let's just roll with them. And then at that point, I'm just feeling like an idiot because let's just put our money down the tubes because I have no idea.
Right. But one game we do know, man, is the national championship, Alabama, Georgia, Monday night. Before we get too deep into it, I will like to say that I did very well on the bowl games on New Year's Day. I think because me and you were together on a lot of them, we did very well.
Yeah, we had a hell of a day.
You had Ole Miss, I had Baylor though, but then Michigan really fucked us. That was another one of our locks that did not hit. So rip in peace.
that was literally a lock. I'm telling you, fade the locks. I don't know, whatever we say to
Fade the
this
lock.
week,
Yeah.
fade the
Yeah.
locks.
But Alabama, Georgia, last I checked, the spread's been at 3 all week. I haven't seen a change. It's 3, Alabama being the underdog. And because of that, man, I am not betting against Nick Saban. I know Alabama was an underdog against Georgia the first time. I know it's hard to beat a team twice. But when you can get Bama at plus money, Joey, I gotta roll with the tide. I hate it. Like, I want Georgia to win, but like, I for gambling reasons, I can't take Georgia here, man. I can't do it.
Yeah. So this is like such an interesting thing to me. Like you mentioned, it, the line really hasn't moved. It now looks like in some books it's come down to 2.5.
Wow.
Which tells me, one, the line hasn't moved much because there is some sharp money coming in on Georgia. But 2, it moved down enough because there's a ton of public money coming in on Bama. Because people like you, people like me, are thinking Bama just fucking routed this team, 41-24 in the SEC title game. It's Nick Saban. It's Bama. It doesn't fucking matter. They're gonna win this game, and it's plus money. And Cody, let me tell you, I have already bet Bama. I bet them like a week ago.
Like as soon as the bowl games are over.
As soon as I saw the line come up, I said, fuck yeah, let's I think I was actually like, we were recording the Bears on Tap post-game show, I want to say, for the last Bears game. And then Ron brought it up, or beat on one of those two brought it up, and I said, they're plus money. Hammer it. I don't care. Like, I'm just going to hit it. But like, it does scare me, the fact that this line hasn't moved much, and then now it just now has come down because it's been up all week, and you know that this is drawing some major eyeballs to this game, and there's a ton of people playing it, not just sharps. I mean, there's a ton of like prop bets available too. It's going to be it's literally the college football Super Bowl. Yeah. So, but I look at it and I'm like, with Bama, yeah, John Mechie's not going to play. Right, that's a big weapon on the outside or wide receiver.
We said that going into the game against Cincinnati, and it didn't matter. What's his name? That white receiver that I forgot his name of. He came out of nowhere, really, and kind of just did Bama things. You know,
yeah.
He took that guy's role and was just fine. Bryce Young is really good.
He's really fucking good. Yeah,
I can't trust a guy named Stetson to win me a championship, man.
And he's so hit or miss. He is so hit or miss.
He had a great game against Michigan. I'll give him that. He had a great game.
And he pissed me off because I bet his under passing yards. So we're not going to go there.
Yeah. But I mean, the over-under on this game is 52.5. I think that's I feel like if you don't know who to bet, like, I like the over. Like, 52.5 with these two teams, I think there's going to be a lot of offense in this game. I think, like, I know Georgia is one of the best defensive teams, but clearly Alabama did whatever they wanted in the last game. I think Georgia's going to make some adjustments and play better in this game, but, like, I don't see their defense holding them to less than 20 points. And I don't see Alabama's defense holding them to less than 20 points. So
Cody, so if you like the over, I'm going to tell you right now, I think the play for you is take the Bama team total over. Because I'm not sure against this Bama defense that Stetson Bennett will be able to do the same thing that he did the first time against them. And also, the spread is almost telling us that it's going to be an under. Like, they're trying to tell us that it's going to be an under by making Georgia the favorite because Georgia really is just more of a defensive team. So, like, making them the favorite in this spot, we saw what happened last time. They're not a good come-from-behind team. Like, if they're playing from behind and Bama puts up a ton of points, then, yes, the over probably hits. But, like, you never know if Stetson Bennett and that crew, if he's having to throw it a ton, if he's going to be able to put up that many points. So, like, or if he's going to be able to with, like, Will Anderson, those guys blitzing them. I don't know. I just think probably your best bet would be Bama team total over instead, which because they're dogs, you're probably going to get them I haven't looked at their team total, but you're probably going to get their team total at even a
At a
better price.
smaller, at a smaller number than Georgia. Yeah.
Smaller number. So like, and dude, like Jameson Williams has been their best receiver all season too, even with John Mechie being out. I mean, he caught 7 passes, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns the last time they played Georgia. And Young threw for 421 freaking yards, and then Slade Bolden added 5 catches for 50 plus. So, like, okay, so look at the listen to this too. So Bama's played 181 games since 2009. They've been favored in 178 of those. In those 181 games, and guess how many times they've lost out of those games?
Of those games that they were underdogs?
That they were underdogs. Those 3 games.
I'm going to say that they didn't lose.
They didn't lose once. So they played Florida in 2009, the SEC title. They won that game by 19 points. They played Georgia in a regular season game in 2015. They won that game by 28 points. They played in the most recent SEC game versus Georgia just this season. They won that game by 17 points. Saban doesn't lose as a money line underdog.
He saw that spread. He saw that spread and printed it out and pinned it in the locker room, bro. Like this is going to be what puts Alabama over the top. Like they're going to go, and I don't think they're going to steamroll like they did last time, but I do think they're going to win this game. I like the quarterback more than I do the guy for Georgia. I like the running back as well. The defense for Georgia is better. Clearly they couldn't stop it last time. I think it'll be better this time, but like they're not. This is not going to be a blowout for Georgia or Alabama. I think it's going to be close. I do.
I think
Alabama comes through.
Also, too, like Georgia's very good pass rush, very good stopping the run, but they're better stopping the run. I think they can get to the quarterback, but in the secondary, I think that's where Bryce Young and his talent comes into play. Like, I think even without John Mechie, I think he can beat this team again because we saw it. They got a ton of pressure on him, even in that SEC title game. And what was he able to do? Like, Bryce Young is he's not getting enough credit even for, I mean, I know Saban's going to devise up some stuff. He has something to work with now off that game too, because he can see what they were able to do. And I would take him as a coach anytime. You're giving me as a money line dog. And like you said, you're telling me he hasn't looked at the spread or he hasn't looked at who's favored. Come on. It might be the public play, not the sharp angle. I think the public is on the right side here.
Yeah. They're just tired of being hurt every single time they bet against Bama. That's probably it too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah. All right, man. Well, we're riding Bama +3. We're riding Bama money line, I think. What's your lock of the week? I'll go for college football. I guess my lock is Bama +3, and then I know we're riding the same games in the NFL, but I would say my lock for sure, the one that I like the most, is Cowboys Eagles over 43 points. That's that's what I think is the lock. So
I like that. I was gonna go. Damn, I actually like that too a lot. I'll go ahead for NFL. I'll say my lock of the week as I'm kind of scrolling back here to look at what I had. I'll go ahead and go with the Saints.
Okay, Saints -3. I like it, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've made it home. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. No. Just for college, I'll go ahead and go with Bama. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's a lock, but like if we need one college lock, so I'll go with Bama. And I also didn't mention that I like Bryce Young's passing yards over 310.5. If he can get it lower than that, good. But I saw it 310.5. I think he goes over that number.
All right. Love it. All right. Well, it's been an hour and we made it. everyone, go follow us on Twitter at OnTapBets. Follow me on Twitter at Cody on Tap. I also just created a new Instagram account. Please go follow me. It's been very hard to create any engagement over there. I need people to talk to, people to share pictures with, I guess. At Cody on Tap over there. My friend here, Joey Ricotta, at the Riot 326. We're gonna have our lock and parlay on Sunday morning, most likely. Maybe we'll come up with one Saturday if we're feeling frisky. But I like be on the lookout for the lock and parlay of the week on Sunday. And let's ride. We had a 6-leg parlay last time. We came 2 legs short. So we're building momentum. It's better than losing the first one and just being completely out of it altogether. So make sure you're following us on Twitter so you can see that lock and parlay of the week. Follow On Tap Sportsnet on social media for all the rest of your Chicago sports needs. And I know for me, I'm a co-host of the Cubs on Tap podcast, so make sure you go check that out if you're a Cubs fan. Joey does a little bit of everything with Cubs and Bears, so go follow Bears on Tap for him for sure. And we put all that together. We come here and talk about being degenerates. It's great. Absolutely love it, Joey.
Nothing better.
All right, man. Well, with that said, everyone, good luck with this week. We'll be back next week. With probably some college basketball and what is the NFL playoffs begin next weekend too? So stay tuned for that. We'll be back next time. Till then, let's crack them and lock them and then stack them.
Let's go stack them. Let's get this money, guys.